Our RE/MAX of New England broker owners and agents, when it comes to charitable giving and community support, they are unbelievable. Not only with Children's Miracle Network and the Susan G. Komen for the Cure, but for all the community-based initiatives that they support and that they lead are just outstanding. I'd just like to say thanks. We really appreciate it. You make a great difference.
It was a few days before Christmas this past year. I received a phone call from a real estate in a competitor's office who knew that I owned rental property and just gave me a phone call and said that they had a family that had recently had their home burned to the ground, and they lost everything. Their Christmas presents, their money, everything was lost in the fire. The mother and the two children marginally escaped the home. And I just casually said to her, well, you know, it's Christmas. I feel terrible for these people. Tell her that she can have the apartment for free for the next 2 months, and we'll waive the application fee and all the other things that go along with it. Well, I just hung up the phone and sent out an email to the 25 people in my office and relayed the story about how terrible it was. And without exaggeration, within 20 minutes, the number of emails that came back from the people on my team was overwhelming. And that email grew like wildfire and went to friends of the people in my office, to other agents in the community. And by the end of that day, we had literally everything you could ever want to furnish a home. To this day, that woman who is my tenant, without exception, can't speak to me without crying.
I had been at a fashion show that International put on at our international convention, and it was to benefit Susan G. Komen. And there were breast cancer survivors who told their stories, and it was just extremely emotional. And I came back to Rhode Island and felt that we needed to do something as RE/MAX people to bring to the community for charity. And Lenny Iannicelli from RE/MAX Professionals volunteered to help me. And so that's how Think Pink evolved. We got the community going, we got the RE/MAX offices going. Every single office bought tables, participated, and it turned out to be a fabulous event.
As a member of the Greater Providence Board of Realtors, about 13 years ago, we took the initiative to start a golf tournament. It was slow moving at first because we were new to the whole process, but 13 years later, we're generating on average about $20,000 per golf tournament to give to charity. The organizations that benefit from our tournament, our primary is the Hasbro's Children's Hospital Child Life Program. That program is awesome because it helped the kids that are in the hospital for a long time with computers, toys, games, anything that has to do with keeping the kids active while they're in the hospital. That's the Child Life Program. So we're happy to say that we have a room dedicated to the Greater Providence Board of Realtors because we've been a major donor for that particular program. But the Children's Miracle Network and Hasbro Children's Hospital are basically synonymous. So when we're in the field donating from our commission checks to CMN, and then on top of that, our efforts through the golf tournament, we tie them both in together. The first year we did the golf tournament, we were invited to Hasbro, and we met the kids that were benefiting. Need I say more? It was touching, and that's why I do it every year.
The Massachusetts Children's Fund was actually founded by my son Daniel, who's now a sophomore in college. And it exists to provide baby food and supplies to underserved members of the population. It started as a result of our involvement with doing foster care for DSS, and found that the state didn't provide baby food for these children. This year we donated 15 tons of food and supplied well over 40,000 meals to children living from Boston out to Worcester. I know that the inspiration that Dan and I had when we started the Mass Children's Fund goes back to a foster child who we had taken care of, and we had her for a couple of weeks and were able to return her to her mom. And we know that we made a difference, at least in the life of that one child. I think that we all tend to focus more on the big picture of donations to charity and focus less on the story of that one person who was helped, that one person who has food, that one person who gets to go to school, that one person who might have heat this winter because you helped them get heat.
The home court is a wonderful event for anyone to participate in. The Celtics were wonderful in building this court for any child who really had a desire to do this. The parents or the children wrote letters, and some of the letters were absolutely heartwarming and heart-wrenching. And there was a committee of people from the Celtics, from PR people to some RE/MAX people. We read the letters and we all championed different people. And then we told why we championed this particular child. And from there, we voted on the child. And the outcome was going to the house, seeing the neighborhood, pile into the backyard. It gives the community something to be proud of.
Susan G. Komen is a huge event locally in Hartford. They have a race in Hartford, and by chance, the race director, a breast cancer survivor, is actually my neighbor. So I've actually been pretty involved working with her to help her in the planning stages of the event, and as we get closer to the event, I've been leaking it out to our office. I'm expecting a huge rally. It's a RE/MAX event. I think we're going to have great success with getting people involved with that.
My son has a car wash, and we go down and we take over the car wash for the day. All the proceeds go to the Children's Miracle Network. The people love it. They are so generous when they come through. We've brought the RE/MAX balloon. It kind of pulls it all together. So rather than just being a group that's out there, you're a part of something that's known worldwide, and it gives you great credibility. So it makes for a wonderful day. Your agents are out there with the public again. You're doing something that's good for somebody other than yourself. And so at the end of the day, you might be exhausted, but you feel wonderful. And the agents loved it. They had a wonderful time doing it. And it's gotten them a little bit more into what I enjoy doing, but they see the benefit of it also, to your soul and to the community.
I know that that woman was so overwhelmed by that event that we've touched her life, no question. In a terrible situation, she said, it's nice to know that there's still hope in the world, and that's what you want to do. That's why you do it.
It's fulfilled me on many levels. It would take me forever to tell you how many levels. It's just, there's a sense of pride, there's a sense of fulfillment. It's just a great place to be.
I stood up and I asked the audience, I would like everybody who's been touched in some shape, form by breast cancer to please stand up. I think there were 8 people who did not stand. And then I knew that what we were doing was something we had to do.